Hello everyone, welcome to a Thursday morning live. My name is Alisa Tilsner and I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Australia, and I am the designer behind the Creative Card Makers Club, and more recently, as of last night, the Blends and Beyond Facebook group. So we have got a colouring in group now, yay! And I am going to do some colouring in for you today. So I have been, I love colouring in, and it's been a long time since I had coloured in, and now I've really gotten back into my colouring in. I just love it. So, but going through my stamp sets, I realised that I have a little bit of a lacking of images that I can actually colour. And so yesterday I was thinking, I think I'm going to play around with colouring a solid image. So that is what we are going to do today. If you are joining me, I am on Facebook and YouTube at the same time. Now for this, I do recommend that you, if you have got a Facebook, a YouTube account, race on over to YouTube, because if you are watching on a mobile device, and this is the same for if you are watching on a replay as well, you can actually pinch your screen and you can zoom in. I don't have the ability to zoom in on my camera, unfortunately, with the program that I use, but if you're watching on YouTube, you can zoom in on your screen and you can see everything that I am doing. Good morning, good morning. Hello everyone coming in. Okay, so let me get set up. So I do have to, and I've started putting my camera in different positions. So I need to get that all set up as well and make sure that's all good. And now I can swap screens around. Hello, good morning. So we are going to be using the Sending Smiles stamp set, and I'm a big floral person, so I was looking through the catalogue. I'm like, I have nothing to colour in that's floral, nothing substantial that's big, and so I thought I would muck around. So we're going to take a simple stamped image, and we're going to try and give it a little bit more of a what's the word when you pimp it up? Like, what's those car shows where they go pimp my ride or something like that, and they jazz up their cars? We're going to pimp up our flower with some blends and also colouring in pencils. So good morning everyone. Okay, and then I thought, hang on a second, I've got to make a card with this afterwards. So this morning I was racing around going, oh, how am I going to make my card? So I think I have figured out what I'm going to do. So there we go. Right. Good evening. Good evening. Oh, good evening from Canada. Oh, perfect. Perfect. It was a very spur. I do things very spur of the moment sometimes, and my colouring in group was definitely a very spur of the moment. Although I had been thinking about it, and then at the last minute it was just like, right, that's it, I'm going to do it. So I am probably going to trim down my cardstock a little bit later. I just want to figure out my width to start with, because I need to get this on the right angle and I need to come down. I might have to stamp it twice depending on whether I can fit my flower. So I am using Lemon Lime Twist, which is pretty in your face type of green really, and the Lemon Lolly, which I'm still deciding whether I like or not. I don't 100% know. Now, excuse me if my head gets in, but I want to really come down, and I think I hope I'm not going to go off the page. I hope I've got my cardstock around the right way. Have I got the right width? Oh, do you know what? I think I turned my cardstock. I did. This is my layers, and no wonder it won't fit, because I've turned my cardstock around the wrong way. Now, can I restamp it on the other side? I think I can. just stuff up first thing in the morning. That's okay. We don't mind, right? I'm just going to make sure that I'm definitely right. That's better. I'm going to fit it in. I'm going to fit it in better. That's the problem when you're using rectangles. If I'd made it into a square, I would have been right. Anyway, that's okay. There's two sides of every piece of paper, isn't there? That's why. Oh, thank you, Lois. Do you know, I have had this top for years, absolute years and years and years. I bought it out of a catalogue, and it has got very little pilling on it. Right, so excuse me if my head is in. I think you can, my hair's jangling in the way there. I want to get this in the right spot, and I want to get it fairly close to my stem. Okay, and I've got marks on my card. It's okay, it's okay. All right, so I have got my stamped image. Now I'm going to work on my stem to start with, and the colors of blends that I am using, and I'm also going to pop a piece of acetate underneath. Now I've been watching and learning, just like you guys. I like to learn how to improve my coloring in skills as well. So I have been looking around and watching videos and reading and all sorts of things, and one little tip that I did discover was to actually put a non-porous surface behind your card, because it helps keep your paper wet and your blends can blend better. So there you go. That's one thing I didn't know. I always used to just put straight onto scrap paper, but if you actually put a non-porous thing, it keeps your paper a little bit wet. So the colors I am using now, so lemon lime twist on the paper. I'm going to use granny apple green, and I'm going to use a bit of old olive as well, because it's quite a bright, colored green. Don't you agree? Now, normally when I color, I will go from dark through to light, but I think it just depends on what I'm actually coloring. So I am going to start with my lightest and work my way up, and I use a flicking motion. So again, if you are on YouTube, you can actually zoom in and you'll be able to see exactly what's going on. Now this is really light, and I'm giving really long flicks, and I'm keeping my hand and wrist very light. Okay, and I'm going to do the same with this one. So you can see there's not a whole lot of difference between this blend and the color that is already on my stamped image. So I'm just going to, and of course, obviously, if I've got smaller leaves, I'm just going to do smaller strokes. But for these bigger ones, I can do longer. And I am using my bullet tip because I fear that my brush nibs are getting a little bit soft on the ends. So now I'm going to use my, you could probably use a silicone mat. One video that I did watch, which I've paid for, she also suggested a cutting plate, a die cutting plate that hasn't been marked. Obviously, don't run it through your machine. And I thought, oh, that's a really good idea too. Because I mean, I'm using paper, this big bunch of soft, is soft, it's not hard. So your silicone mat might work quite well. Okay, so now I'm using my dark, and I'm just going to continue with my flicking motion, but I'm not going to come as far as I did. So shorter motions, and I'll go around. And I do have to warn you that sometimes I have an issue of talking while I colour. Just putting that out there as a warning. Okay, so there's my dark. Now the other thing I have to let you know is that I Frankensteined one of my blends. I've only done it to one because this one was, I'm going to use the brush nib, I'm going to show you. So I Frankensteined it. I put another nib in. And this nib was a wee bit too long, and I was having issues getting it in. Hi, Holly. And so I'm not going to say what nib I used. I have ordered some more to see whether I can get them, because when I put the lid on, the nib was too long for the lid to go on. So my son, because I couldn't get the original nib back in because it was totally trashed, my son used his Dremel on the housing in there. So, but when I do figure it out, and if you are, I have Sandbox Stampin' Up. If you feel that you wish to do so too, please do. put it into their feedback that we want nibs, because I love my Stampin' Blends and we just need to improve that nib. But bullet is fine. But I'm just going to now come in with my old olive and I'm going to do really small light flicks, and you can do it with your bullet as well, and flicks with this one as well. So you can see it's just sort of enhancing our stamped image there as well. And more on here. And last one. Okay. Now what I am also going to do is just really, really gently, and if you can zoom in if you wish. And you'll notice that this is supposed to have a flower head on it too, but I'm not going to put a flower head on it because my sentiment is going to cover that. So I'm just going to change the color of my stalk just a little bit, my stem, because it is that really bright green and I just need to tone it down a little bit. So just gently, doesn't matter if I'm not exactly on it, I'm not too fussed, but really with a really light touch, and I'm barely touching the cardstock. Now I'm going to hold this up to the moment. Depending on how big your image is, you could, just as long as it's non-porous. All right, so that's what we've got going on at the moment. Now I'm going to move on to my flower head, and I have got Daffodil Delight, and I know, don't hate me, but I've got the Wild Wheat. Okay, it does play a purpose in the color spectrum. Trust me. So I've stamped in Lemon Lolly, and we're going to do exactly the same thing, and I'm going to use my bullets because I fear that those nibs are trashed as well. And again, I'm just going to flick with my lightest color first, which is the light Daffodil Delight, and I'm just going from the center and out. Now I'm an away flicker. You might find it easy to flick towards you. I like to flick away, and you'll notice that I'm constantly turning my paper so that I'm always flicking away. And I'm just going to do colors. You could get really, really fancy if you wanted and tried to put shading in and separate some of these bigger petals into like single petals, but I'm just going to do that so far. Okay, next I'm going to use my dark, and same thing, going flick from the center but not go out as far. Yeah, so everybody needs to go for me because I love working with our blends, but you all need to go and tell Stampin' Up that we need new nibs. They put new nibs in our watercolor markers, and honestly, I think if they put those nibs into these pens, oh, it would just be amazing. Okay, so I've gone around again. That one's a bigger petal, so I'm just going to pull it down just a wee bit more, because I do want to put my third color in there. So, and depends on how much color. Now, you know what? I looked up daisies. I googled daisies, yellow daisies, before I came on, and some of the centers are actually purple, and they start going from, they've got a little ring of purple around them on the petal before they move into yellow. So you could even do like a little bit of purple into yellow. Now I'm going to use the light Wild Wheat because that's a fairly bright yellow, and I know daisies are yellow, but this is just sort of going to I don't know, bring it into a little bit more of a, I think the Wild Wheat is a very natural, earthy type of color. Now that's what it looked like with the bullet tip, and now I'm going to show you with, and I'm just barely touching the paper with the tip of my, because this one is actually a good nib at the moment. So, and again, just flicking and just really lightly, ever so lightly. Okay. Yeah. Oh, good. You know what? I don't think our anyone who likes the wild wheat, but it's got its places, right? So there we have it. Excuse my mess up here. I'll obviously try and trim that off. So there is our color. Now, this petal here is annoying me because it looks like it's like just cut off. So I'm just going to bring in with my light, and rather than go over the top of everything, I'm going to flick from the outside in, because what happens is that lighter colors will actually eat into the darker colors because of the solvent, the liquid, alcohol liquid thing that all your color little pigments are suspended into. So you can see that that's sort of blended a little bit more. So if I was to go over the dark, it would eat all that dark out, and I wanted to keep that dark there. Okay, so now I am going to bring in some colored pencils. Wait a minute, wait. I got to do some dots. I'm going to use my bullet tip, and very, very lightly, so I can try and keep my dots very small. I am going to just do some really tiny little dots on the bottom left-hand area. Okay, and I'll bring that up to show you, just really, really gently. Okay, so I'm going to start with I'm just using the watercolor pencils at the moment. I have actually ordered myself a set of Prisma pencils to lay down on top, because I'm not sure that the watercolor on their own, I think that would be great, but to lay it over the blends, they sort of struggle to be seen a little bit. Now, I don't know, I don't know what this color is. It was just in a random pack. I think it came from a kit. So I'm not sure whether it's it's quite a darky one, or I've got, I'm going to use my old olive one. So I'm going to use my old olive pencil, and I've got it nice and sharp. Now, when you look, I first started, and what I'm going to do is like just add some little texture veins into my leaf. So I'm going to start, and I'm going to push. Okay, so I'm going to do that to start with. So I'm going to start at the base, and I'm just going to push, and I'm going to hold my pencil back here so that I don't have a huge amount of pressure on it, because I just want really fine veins. All right, so I'm going to do that to all of them. So, and they only need a few, and you don't have a lot of control over it, and you don't have a lot of pressure, but it does become a little bit noticeable. So push down, push away. Okay, so hopefully you can just see ever so slightly, there's a few little veins. I did go out the lines a little bit with my flicking. Now, I was looking at this leaf here, and I was thinking, it looks like it wants to curve. Can you see that? Can you see how this one here looks like it should be folded over? It looks like this line here should continue down here. So that is what I'm going to do now. So, oh, Sharon, you've got Prismas. Oh, they've just shipped today. So I'm going to extend this line here, and I am pressing fairly firmly because they don't show up very well over your Prismas. So now I've got this line here, and do you see how it looks like my leaf has actually folded over now? So I'm going to do a little bit, tiny little bit of shading underneath that with my pencil. And I'm going to just bring it down a little bit and make it a little bit deeper so that it looks like that petal has got a fold to it. I'm not sure that the other petals lend themselves to that, but this one definitely does. Definitely lends itself to that. And then I can come up here and I can do some little veins along that leaf as well, along the top side. So there we go. And I love that. I love it. I was just sitting there, I was looking at it, and I'm like, you know what? I reckon that could become something even more. Okay, so now I've got an early espresso pencil, and I have got a Daffodil Delight pencil. Now, I did also buy myself a new pencil sharpener. So this is a Derwent pencil, and pencil sharpener, and it's a manual something or other, I don't know. But you pull this out, and it can take all sizes of pencils. So you just open it up, and it will grab to whatever size pencil you've got, and then you just give it. And wow, voila, look at that. I got a nice sharp pencil. Woohoo. So I am loving that at the moment. My son was also loving it. He's like, oh, what can I sharpen? What can I sharpen? So I am going to do the same thing now to my petals, because your petals actually have a few little veiny things on them too. So I'm just doing it, and you can see they're not very dark, and I'm sure that that's because they're watercolor and they've got their own little things going on with them. So that's why I have ordered myself some Prismas, and I'm just trying to go where the petal would be separated into two. So I'm just trying to put my vein along there. Again, trying not to press too hard because I don't want indentations in my card, but I sort of want to separate my petals a little bit. And I think that's is that the last one? I can't remember where I started. Maybe that's the last one. They're only really, really, really light. Like, and I think you can see them more in this petal here. So, oh, Nicole says she's been playing with Prismas for over 20 years. I don't think that I have. I remember doing some colouring in years ago with the Gamsol and the paper stumps, and I thought I had pencils, but I can't find any in my cupboards, and so I don't know what I was doing, but I do remember having Gamsol, and I do remember having paper stumps. So I'm not sure what I was using for pencils. Okay, so now I've got my early espresso, and I'm just going to pop a little bit. So I coloured the centre in, and I'm just going to go over the top with my early espresso just to sort of deepen that up a little bit, because like I said, sometimes the colours, the centres of these flowers can be quite different. Okay, so that is that. Next, I have a grey, and this is where we're going to pop in a little bit of shadowing. So I'm going to try and picture that my light source is going to come from this direction. So anything that is on the left-hand side will have a bit of a shadow around it. So the leaf is probably, the stems and the leaves are probably the easiest to do so far. And I'm just going to do a really light shadow around, just following the edge of that. And it's only going to be super light, because if you can see with my shadows, the closer I get to my cardstock, the heavier the shadow, like the darker the shadow, but when I bring it up, the fainter it gets. So if you want the illusion of it close to the paper, you'll probably want to do a heavier, darker, thinner one. But if you want it further up, you'll do a lighter and maybe a little bit broader of a shadow. Hello, Anita. Busy playing in the craft room. So am I. Okay, so now I'm going to go and make another little shadow around where these leaves would be. This one would only have a little bit, so if you can imagine my light coming from this way, it would only be a little bit of shadow from that one. There'd be shadow under here, so again, just following the natural shape. I've only just started learning how to do this, so I am still not the best, but I know that with practice I will probably get a little bit better. Now, these ones here on this side, if my light is coming this way, there's going to be light on here, but there will be shadow from probably here down. So I'm only going to put shadow on half of that. And the same with this one. So if my light's coming this way, this isn't going to have any shadow until I hit about here. So I can pop a little bit of shadow there, and probably under this side here, there might be a little bit of shadow under there, but there won't be on this side. So, and I'm not like, if I was, I would take a whole lot more time than that. So I'll bring that up so you can see that a little bit heavier. It's not, it doesn't look as heavy as what it does there, but like it looks softer on my page. Okay, so again, coming from my petals, so these petals here aren't going to have any shadow behind them because the shadow would be falling behind the petal. So we need to come down to these petals that start here and pop a little bit behind here. Again, there's probably a little bit between those two petals. Whoops, that's a bit heavy. So again, you want to hold your pencil way back so you don't get too much. If I can come, there'd probably be a little bit on around this side and under here. Okay, again, and this is what I do for all of my petals because I'm still learning how to do this as well, and I'm not 100% sure where they go. I'm always going to go point. All right, no, none on this side, but boom, there'll be some on this side. So because it's laying over the top. Okay, and again, for this petal here, there won't be any because the sun's going to hit this side, but it's going to be a shadow under here. And there might be a tiny little bit, my sun's coming down, there might be a tiny little bit of shadow under here. So we can just sort of, rather than have it stop dead, if you pull it in like a little curve. So there we go. I think that pretty much covers my shadows. Now, of course, I haven't done an overly neat job because I'll probably come back and fiddle with it because I don't want to take up too much of your time. We've done half an hour already and we haven't even made our card. We're just colouring in. But I will bring that up so that you can have a bit of a look around this. See how it sort of gives the illusion that it's popped up off the card a little bit. So, but you can fiddle until, you know, your heart's content. You can just keep fiddling and playing because it is really relaxing. But I want to make this into a card. I do actually want to make a card. So where's my paper trimmer? So I think I'm done with my colouring and I'm just going to trim this off now. I don't know what's my closest about there. Right, now I am going to stop for 2 seconds because I want to let you know. Oh, I didn't quite get all that. There's a little bit of mess on there. Whoops. I just want to stop over here and let you know that I've got all my card pieces already cut out, but if you would like the measurements of these and you would like you know, the list of supplies and everything, make sure you head on over to my website, which is alisatilsner.com. You can sign up for my newsletter. You'll get 2 free tutorials as soon as you join, and then every Friday we get this card here that I've made in today's live as your tutorial every Friday, and you'll get to hear about other things that are going on, like the bonus days. So we are it's getting closer. What are we, the 27th today? 28, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 5 days left. So for every $90 that you spend, you can get a $9 coupon to redeem next month. I mentioned earlier that I'm the designer for the Creative Card Makers Club. So this is our August class. We are using timeless arrangements. Again, 5 days to join up for that. And finally, my spur of the moment group that I made last night. It is called Blends and Beyond because, as you can see, I have used pencils as well. I have used beyond my blends today. So if you search for Blends and Beyond on Facebook, come and join the group. If you have a go at playing with this, if you have a go at doing this, if you've got this stamp set and you want to have a crack at it, please do come and share your card, even if you don't make a card out of it, even if you just come and share your colouring, I would love to see it, and we can ooh and ah over it. Or if you have any other bold images that you would like to color in and share with us, it would be wonderful. Okay, I'm going to emboss this because you know, that's what we do. And of course I'm going to use my favorite one at the moment. Oh, I did that. Can't see my cards. Yes, it has definitely changed the look. So there's my flat. I'll pop them there while I die cut, so you can see the difference there. So we've gone from flat color to something a little bit more popped off the page. Yes, Leslie, go back and watch all the juicy details. And if you watch on YouTube, you'll be able to zoom in any parts that you need to if you're on a mobile device. So if you're on a phone or a tablet, you can zoom in, which is pretty cool. Okie dokie. Oh, here's my favorite. Do you know what? I've seen another favorite. If you're a demonstrator, you have got access to the next catalog. It's a mini one. And the juicy details, yeah, they're not really that juicy. All the bits and pieces that go along with it. What was I going to say? Oh, there's a new embossing folder, and it's like this grungy style, like the time-worn type and the exposed brick, and it's another one. Megan, yes, anyone can join the Blends and Beyond group. I would love to have you in there. We are all about learning our colouring in, enhancing our colouring in, learning from each other. I do have some classes in my head. I'm away next week though, and I really wanted to start getting it organised, but I can't. So this is what I have got in my head at the moment. Just a really, really simple, card. I was thinking about maybe putting some yellow blend around the edges, but I'm not 100% sure I want to do that yet. I also have a second piece there in case I want to do that. You guys, this is where you can do your input. What do you think? What am I doing? That's the next question. I want to white emboss my sending. Do I need that block? I think I need that block. Oh, get off. And I'm just going to stick you there because I have to clean you. Sending. See, because I was going to bring this piece. I was going to do, yes, and classes will be open worldwide too. They will be pre-recorded so that you can stop the video and catch up and work at your own pace, because the thing that I have found is that when they are live, if any card making, basically, if you are going live and you can't catch up, it's really disheartening. Well, I find it really disheartening anyway if I can't keep up. So I wanted I was going to do a portrait style card, but if I did it portrait style, then my sending was going to cover. And I'm so proud of that leaf because I think it looks amazing, if I do say so myself. So I had to turn it around and make it into a landscape card. I'll put that there. So that's a little bit of background about how I figure out my design, because I really did want a portrait style, but it wasn't going to work. Now, what am I after? Oops. I am after my Versamark, and I freshly inked my Versamark. So, I've just lost some dimensions. Oh my goodness. They went flying down somewhere. I'll have to go figure them out. You don't want to see beside my desk. Holy cow. There is just stuff everywhere on the floor. All right, so I've got a nice, juicy Versamark, freshly inked. Oh, Caroline. I was going to say, I've got a friend who's Caroline. 2 a.m. Holy cow. Are you up late or are you up early? There's a bit of a difference there. I know, I love the leaf too, Deb. Thank you. So can't cover that up. That's what, you know, adds to the whole thing, is giving it that almost realistic style of look. And I was amazed because normally I can't see. Normally my, you know, as I said, we're all on this colouring journey. We're all trying to prove, and normally I can't see those types of curves in leaves and petals and stuff, but I'm amazed it actually stood out to me. I was like, hey, check this out. Okay, I'm just going to heat set that, so excuse the noise, chat amongst yourselves for 2 seconds. Now, let me know, do you think I should add some, whoops, that didn't really work. Let me know if you think I should add some ink around the edges of my white card, or whether I should leave it dark as hot. It was a little bit hot. All right, put you under there, put you under there, put you under there. I've got an computer stand right in front of me, and it fits my, I can just sit my iPad on it. I've got my iPad, one of those keyboardy things, and now I've got this little hidey hole underneath where I can tuck everything out of the way. It's cool, actually. And with my phone on this side instead of up here, although I am in a different position because I'm so used to my phone being further back, I can actually, what am I looking for now? I can actually get closer. You like it white? Megan likes it white. Yeah, I don't want to rush into putting anything around it, just, you know, because once you've done it, you've done it. And considering I've just done all that enhancing to my image, I don't really want to muck it up. You know, when you do something and then you're like, oh man, why did I do that? Yep, just get the card done. That's right, because I mean, I've sort of figured that my cards are sort of mid-range. Like, I know that there's simple cards and there's way over the top cards, which I don't do, but I've just spent half an hour colouring. I think it's time to just get our card done, right? And it might detract from my flower as well. You just don't know. But once it's on, it's on. There's no coming back. All right, so I've got my sending. See, and now I can cover, I don't mind covering that part because I didn't want to put another flower head on there. I can put my sending over the top like that. And then I've got, I think I will do, because we've got sending, we've got lots of sentiments over here, but I think I will just do sending birthday wishes. And because it's only small, where are you? Birthday wishes. And I think I'm just going to die cut it. I'm not going to, there are frames that you can die cut your, whoops, down here. There are frames that you can die cut your sentiments, but I think I'm just going to cut them. Oh, I'm going to lose my die. Can't have that happening. Get in there. Get in there. I think I will just cut it. Alrighty. Oh, I've still got so much. Even though it looks like I've got a clear space, I don't. Not really. All right. Now what am I after? I'm after you, and I think I've got enough white on here, but I do need my darker crushed curry. get that stamped. And look away, look away. Gee, I've really got some other things, pencil sharpener and my naughty Frankenstein blends. Oh well, I'm a rebel. I'm a rebel this time. Now I gotta try and get that straight. I don't think I'm going to be straight. Being a rebel. Is there another stamp set? I would go through, and everybody, maybe you can opt in here as well. So another bold stamp set that you could enhance. Hello, Wendy. Okay, so I've got my sending birthday wishes. Really simple. Let's keep it simple. And then I've got the in color dots, which has got the wild wheat. I wish that they would put the colors on the back. I really do. So I'm pretty sure that wild wheat was an in color. So I'm going to use those dots there for modeling. Look, I don't even have to. Right. Okay. So am I doing two or one behind? One or two? I will glue this on. You guys let me know. I'll have to go through the catalogue and have a look and see what other stamp sets would be good. All right, let's lay this guy down. Actually, I think it's supposed to go that way. Actually, I don't think it, I don't know. I don't think it matters. There's no words in that, is there? Okay, so just a really fine layer on that one. Two. Oh, everybody's saying two. And I use these little scraps because it saves having to use, like, because that's how much cardstock I'll use. Whereas if I did it as a layer, I would be using that much cardstock. And we've all got scraps, right? So that is why I use the little pieces behind. And I'm going to bring my grid paper in because it does help line everything up. So just again, if you are just joining, don't forget, head on over to my website, which is alisatilsner.com. You can sign up for the newsletter, and actually I'm going to do it a bit thinner than 1/4 of an inch. You can sign up for my newsletter and you'll get all the measurements to this card. There you go, just a thinner one. And I will also, sorry, I'll put the link, I think I already did put the link to the website in the description, but I will also come back and pop a link in to the new Blends and Beyond Facebook group. So come and join. Come and join. Show me what you create from this video. Oh, we've got plenty of scraps, Wendy. Goodness me, I've got all my cardstock in filing cabinets, and there are oodles and oodles. Right, so just gonna, before I stick this down completely, I just want to make sure that my sending is not going to cover my favorite leaf. So I probably have to come right to the edge of my card, which is okay. I'll let it have a small border. I will pop that down because, you know, there's always a favorite part of your coloring bit, isn't there? Doesn't matter what you color. I colored oh, I won't show you my bird. I've been coloring the in the moments, which I'm going to say that's going to be my first class, in the moment. So you've already had a little bit of a sneak peek at some of it. You know, and there's always parts of the outfit that, oh, that's my favorite bit. That's my favorite bit of the whole coloring. All right, let's get this stuck down with a few minis. I reckon I can put a bold one right there. And another one about there. I think that's probably enough. Oh yes, if you're a demonstrator, I've looked at it. I think once I've had the quick flick through, our brand new mini catalogue is for demo eyes only at the moment. We got to see a digital copy, and so for non-demos, for customers, that will go out on, you'll be able to order from that on the 6th of September. Caroline is up late. I'm glad you're up late and not up early. There's nothing worse than having to, I don't know, I sort of think that it's easier to stay up late than to get up early, if you know what I mean. Starting to wilt. Oh my gosh, I'm normally, I can't do my lives in the evening. I do one with Pip Todman in the evening, but I am really bad, and I am normally falling asleep, you know, 9 o'clock, 9:30. I'm normally fast asleep in front of the TV. Okay, so I'm going to put my birthday wishes, which I've just realized I haven't cut very straight. Yep, get you off. And ta-da! So now just for a little bit of bling. So it's really, you know what would have been really nice? I'm just looking at it. Because we've just done the single flower, sending comfort and strength probably would have been a really lovely sentiment as well. I think that, you know, that possibly made a really nice sympathy card. So, all right. Bling, and you probably, I don't know that you would put bling bling on a, like shiny sparkly bling on a sympathy card if you were doing that. Maybe some ribbon or a bow. Just, you know, I don't think sparkles too much, but for a birthday card it is fine. Now, shall I do, this is where I'm going to struggle. I'm going to struggle with my placement. Maybe 2 little ones, or maybe a medium one. Maybe I don't want to take away. Maybe I'll put it here. Ugh. And this one here. These ones are tricky to pick up. Maybe I'll put this one. Jiminy. Where am I going? Where am I going? I always try and keep them in a triangle, and sometimes my triangle can be a little, that's not really a triangle, but I don't want to, that one's, yeah. Close your eyes and whack them on. I know, it's so hard sometimes. Sometimes they just fall into place, and other times it's just like, oh my gosh, you're just being a pain in my neck. And I think this one's being a pain in my neck. Do you think it would look stupid if I put it there? Look, you know what? I'm putting it there. There's my triangle. It's just not, you know, a perfect isosceles or what's the other triangles? I can't even remember what types of triangles they were from back at school, but we're going to put it there. I don't want to detract from my flowers. So there we have it. So hopefully, get a little bit of grub off there. Hopefully my flower looks like it's standing off the page a little bit. When the colours all settle down into the cardstock, they always look a little bit different too. But there we have it. Hopefully we've turned a flat image, a flat stamped image into something a little bit more realistic. So there we go. I'm loving it. And you know what? I don't normally like green and yellow cards for some reason. It just I have a thing about it, but I don't mind that. I think that's okay. That's okay. I can deal with that. So there we go. So I am just going to swing, change back to me. So I hope you have, get that out of the way without bashing myself in the face with it. Hopefully you enjoyed that. So do come and join the Beyond Blends and Beyond, because, you know, I don't always just colour with blends. Sometimes it's colouring with pencils. Sometimes it's colouring with watercolour. just depends on the style of the image. I think it depends on how I feel about coloring them in. So, but do come and join the group. And thank you, everyone. And if you have a go at this, if you have this stamp set, pull it out, have a crack at it, and then come back, take a photo and share it in our group. And because we would all love to see it, and we would all love to applaud. And you know, that's it. So, and I think that's it. So, yep, 5 days until the end of the month. So promotions are ending, and I think that's it. I'll explain everything again in my newsletter tomorrow. So make sure you're signed up for that. Okay, I am away next week. I am not here, so I will be back the week after. So I will see you all then, and I'm going to have to take some colouring with me when I go, I think I'm going to have to do that. I might have withdrawals now that I've come back into it with a bit of a vengeance. Okay, thanks for joining me, everyone, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.